이게 약간 되게 어센티키하던 앨범인데
좀 버겁죠.
지금 이게 가능할까?
맞네.
Hey everyone, this is Julie and welcome to my SOFHAB reviews segment. Today, I'm back to cover another new Netflix original. It's the BTS Return documentary!
Yay!
And joining me is, of course, Rascal Entertainment.
Hello.
So this documentary was released just a couple days after the comeback live performance on Netflix, and it's meant to showcase the journey and struggles of our boys of creating this new album, but it instead revealed that BTS was forced to change their own formula for this comeback. Plus, the performance itself showcased more new songs than older songs fans were familiar with. But
Before we say, be sure to like, subscribe, and keep us a future podcast, and SOFHAB Reviews Netflix.
yes, and thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting, everything you do, specials. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
BTS is back!
Yes.
I was really excited to see this. Now, as we mentioned, we had seen the concert the day before, and the reviews were mixed on how people perceive of it. Some people were happy with it, some people were not, and some people were just really confused by what happened. And as we mentioned, there were more new songs from our own than there are from the previous work that they've done.
Yes.
So we kind of wanted to find out what really happened with this album. And BTS The Return lets you know all of that thoroughly. And it actually makes you empathize with them because they're back, but they're not really being allowed to be themselves, regardless of what they said during the performance.
Yes.
The documentary lets you know truly how they feel and where they're at mentally and physically.
Yes.
눈만 보고
And
맞추세요.
one thing I think
아, 네,
stands
네,
out
네,
the
다
most
키우신 걸
before we even
환영합니다.
get into the documentary is that it's longer than the concert itself for the performance. The performance is
An hour.
1 hour. The documentary is
93 minutes.
Yeah, so it's like, why is this have more content than the performance itself? I don't understand.
It's kind of like it was a limited engagement comeback.
Yeah, like, oh, this girl's only an hour. What? Okay,
Yeah.
it was a short concert.
So for those of you who aren't familiar or know about BTS The Return, it came out this year, as we mentioned. It was directed by Bao Nguyen, featuring BTS. It was co-produced by Hybe and This Machine, and Netflix is where it exclusively lives. And it basically, again, shows us the return from the military enlistment and the return to music. And it shows you where they recorded in LA, surprisingly. And then they returned to Seoul to do the mixing, which was a surprise. It was produced by 9 different people, none of them BTS members, 3 cinematographers, and edited by 4 editors.
Okay.
And as we mentioned, it runs 93 minutes. Really, really happy with the quality of this documentary. Netflix has done some really bad jobs recently on documentaries. They had a winning formula, and for some reason they decided to change it. But it looks like for this one, they went back to it, and that's why it really was satisfying and informative and a joy to watch. So it shows BTS members all reuniting in LA to record Our Wrong, which is actually their 5th album, as they were preparing for their comeback performance in Seoul. So this came out the day after, but the performance came first. And I remember saying to you, don't you think you should have released the documentary first?
Yeah.
And then we watched the concert, but for some reason Netflix decided to change it,
yeah.
and we see it after.
Yeah, even the performance's date was changed to when
Yeah.
it was gonna release for whatever reason. But I guess they thought, hey, if you love the concert so much, see what happened behind the scenes leading up to it. Like it was a bonus feature later. But weird choice, but okay.
Well, you got to kind of see where they were thinking and again where they're at mentally during this time. They're really happy to be back together in this documentary. You can tell that they really missed being around each other, and a couple of members were stating how I missed this. I missed when we all lived together and we just order a pizza and we worked and we practiced and then we'd hang out.
Yeah.
I really missed that a lot. And I think we missed it too.
Yes.
The fans missed it as well. ARMY really missed this.
Yes. For sure. And it's actually very fitting that you mentioned this, because the big surprising part about this, and we had seen some debate online after the concert came out, they were kind of concerned on why did this album sound like this. It sounded, the new songs I should say, sound completely different from everything BTS has done. You could tell what was the older stuff and what was their usual tune, and then what was the newer things. And the idea was to show them going back to their roots of Korean culture, even by singing a folk song that has been hundreds of years old. And what
Title Aurang.
Right, Title Aurang was the name of the album. And the idea was to sing that song, but used with modern day instruments. And to be fair, it sounded like a great idea, but we did not get that song. You saw a segment of it, it missed another song like it was just a footnote. Well, this documentary reveals that during the process, BTS's usual formula when they create songs, they were told not to do that. They did not get to go back to Korea to create the album. They went to Los Angeles, which was a big change for them. A lot of times they were separated, and many times when they were showcasing ideas or they were listening to demos of the songs that they were singing, they kept saying, this doesn't really sound right, doesn't sound like us. I don't think they're gonna like this. This is way too different. But they were being told constantly by producers and the company that, well, this is the way to go. You need to hit these things in order for people to enjoy it, and this is what's gonna get more people to listen. And they make it very clear they did not really agree to a lot of things. They just had to, because that's who they're working for. And all throughout, when they're trying to put some things that are like BTS in there and the stuff they know fans want, some higher up tells them on a one-on-one, a group, that it's not gonna work. They need to know that you have grown past that. You're men now. You don't need to do this. You can be serious and not be all this fanciful, fun thing you were before. Need to show that they have grown into men after what they were doing. But it seems like that
they were men before. They were in their 20s before they went into the military. They were men before.
Yeah.
And except for Kookie, they're all in their 30s now. He's 28. Yeah. They were all men already, so I'm not sure what the message is.
I guess they're saying they were acting immature, and now they need to act more adult. And
they need to act the way in which they wanted them to behave and sing and perform.
It was weird,
There were a couple songs that were good, and there were a couple of songs that really sounded like BTS.
Yes.
It was their old sound. And it was interesting that during the documentary, RM said that they had done over 120 songs they'd written for this album. And then you're left with the few that they put in, and the majority of them are rap. The majority of them are more mature and harder. And I'm not sure what makes them think that this is how you prove you're a man now, by cursing and being, and BTS isn't being vulgar. I'm making a separate statement. By cursing or being vulgar or being full of debauchery or not being respectful, it seems like that's the message people want to say now proves you're being a man. Well, BTS has never done those things. So it was kind of a shock to hear hardcore rap and lyrics that cursed and lyrics that really kind of sounded like they were attempting to be
a different genre.
Yes, because they said you got to do something different. You got to do something different. I think that for me, I was waiting for them to return and expound upon what they did before. Of course, we know they're not the same. They're in their 30s, but we didn't expect their core sound and their core emotions and writing to be different. What I love about the other works they produce is that they wrote everything themselves, and they really were involved in production and delivery and singing and arranging, and even the videos themselves when they made them.
Yeah.
But this one, it was like they said, okay, you're back. We're taking over your career. This is the sound you're going to have. You got 120 songs. Let's see which ones fit the mold we have for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is what this album's going to represent. Disappointed with the cover. It's not even joyful of what they usually represent. I don't know if it was their input or not to have the cover. They didn't mention that in the documentary.
Mm-mm.
And I really wanted to hear more of the BTS we know and love.
Right.
I really hope that they get an opportunity to do what it is they want to do and go in the direction they want to do. And I know in the songs they were saying, this is how we felt in the lyrics and so forth. But in the documentary, they weren't saying those same things. And they were letting you know in the documentary that they weren't pleased with this album. And then what really made me sad and cry was when Jimin was shown by himself. And he says he sits for hours playing video games alone. And now you know that they're not living together anymore. They're not having much contact unless they're working. And again, a couple said they really miss it. And it made me literally cry. Because it's like they're telling them, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
They're grown men. You want them to be grown men? Then why can't they direct their lives in the way they want it to go? Well, we know the answer to that, but we won't get into that.
Sounds like they wanted them to beat out K-pop demon hunters again, because they were at the top until the movie, and it's like they're trying to forcibly make a new sound that will put them back on top and push down the movie. Don't understand why they felt a need to do that, like they were dethroned unrightly. I don't get it.
I think, for me, hearing the BTS we know, hearing the songs and lyrics we know they write, hearing their own emotions, and hearing the sounds we're familiar with would have made it blow up even bigger than it went now. And it probably would have drawn more people in. There is no competition with K-pop Demon Hunters. It's its own thing. BTS are their own thing. There's no comparing them. They're two different groups, two different sets or groups, I should say, of individuals. And I think it's unfair to compare one with the other.
Right.
So Rotten Tomatoes, who's still rotten, gave the documentary 100%, which they should have, and they better do that. And Brandon Yu of the New York Times said, in short, as polished as you would expect of a work about a pop behemoth, a companion piece to the new album that's less a revelatory look at the meaning of their time away than a sentimental welcome back for the group and its fans. Well, guess what? We loved it, so we don't care what you think.
Right.
And lastly, I hope they make more. I hope they make more, but again, that they are allowed to control their own destiny and their own sound and their own look. Because this was a BTS that seems to be manufactured and not to be what they really want to do. And based on the documentary content, this is someone else's idea of what BTS should represent. We want our boys to be happy and to do what they love and to keep doing it. And them being in their 30s and 28 with Kooky does not change how we feel about them.
Right.
If you've seen BTS The Return, let us know in the comments. Did you love it like we did? Did you wish it were longer? Did you think it was great? Did some parts of it make you sad or want better for them? And what do you think of how Hybe is taking so much control of their creativity and not letting them be free as they were before? Tell us what you think. If you haven't seen it, it's available exclusively on Netflix to stream. Even if you haven't watched it and you like some BTS songs, go ahead and give it a watch. You're going to enjoy it. Come back and tell us what you think.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get recent SOFHAB reviews and so much more.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining us for this special review today. BTS!
Yes.
As always, you are specials.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal.
I'm Julie.
Have a fantastic day.
Continue to be happy, healthy, whole, and also wonderful, my specials. See you next time.
생각이 들고
그게 또 저희만 연출할 수 있는 장면일 수도 있지 않을까.